It's not just static. It's the symphony of raw thought. You perceive fleeting images, a perfect drawing, a corporate lie, or the deep ache in a stranger's gaze. The mental noise vanishes, submerging you instantly into humanity's beautiful echo chamber. The texture of the mundane begins here. We grasp the commuter's desperate hope after snooze, the worker's cold dread about his mortgage knotting tight. A mother fiercely debates chicken or mac and cheese for dinner tonight. Every small thought resonates like a bell. This is humanity's raw soundtrack. The silence shatters violently. Human thought explodes into a blinding torrent of screaming data. Fragile lies and desperate hopes are laid bare instantly. Hidden resentment now projects across the asphalt like a searing red warning sign against the concrete. There is nowhere left to hide. He frantically attempts a mental firewall, but consciousness isn't simple. It is an unstoppable cascade, a raw, chaotic broadcast. The thoughts overlap, slamming into him like shattered glass in deafening waves of sheer fear and aching desire. She realizes sheer force won't work against the flood. He must filter it, finding the rhythm within the noise. The chaos is a complex language, not static. Pinpointing spikes of anxiety and shimmering arcs of desire allows him to turn deafening sound into pure thought. A sharp thread of thought pierces the mental noise. Its not static, its crystalline clarity. He instantly grasps the child's worry over his plastic dinosaur, frantic fear that it rolled under the sofa, coupled with desperate hope. The chaos resolves into one vulnerable heartbeat. This isn't passive listening, it houses an instant torrent of active comprehension. He feels the sharp metallic anxiety of his colleague, the weary calculation of a distant friend, and the aching echo of old forgiveness. The world is now 1,000 distinct whispers colliding at once. His quiet corner, the precious sanctuary where he could simply exist without judgment or performance, is shattered. Every inner thought now feels like a fixed spotlight upon him. There is no private space left, only the deafening torrent of others. Kuru, deepest desires, floods his consciousness. This mental deluge is pure data flooding his core. He charts every secret yearning across the urban sprawl. It feels like holding 1 billion tiny heartbeats in his chest. Every spike of anxiety or sudden surge of hope registers instantly on his vivid map. He immediately tests his lens on a coffee shop barista. When she murmurs, "Ya latte, please, a latte," he doesn't just hear the request. The data explodes. I hope this isn't too sweet, laced with failure anxiety. It is raw vulnerability pouring out wine, a perfect glimpse into her guarded mind. The tariff negotiation spirals into a mental maze. Verbal arguments feel flimsy compared to the sheer noise within their minds. He hears one diplomat's deep contempt for his rival, and another desperately pleads, "Don't let them see our threadbare budget." This is power itself, drawn in silent anxiety and buried resentment. A child teen's whisper, "I hate homework," is no mere grumble. Beneath it, a sharp current of parental dread floods out. Did they eat enough vegetables? Are their friendships strong enough for summer? The stakes instantly drop from global politics to the fragile weight of one small life. Even inanimate objects carry emotional residue. That old stone wall isn't just granite, it holds a deep echo of wartime panic. It registers as a visceral tremori, a cold wave of anxiety felt by every mind nearby. The world feels heavy because you don't merely read the fear, you feel its pressure radiating through your fingertips. His awareness stretches beyond the local sphere, absorbing thousands of minds across continents. It is a surging tapestry of thought. He feels the surgeon's sharp focus on a failing heart valve and the hiker Rinzen's quiet doubt about reaching the summit. This isn't noise, it's a heavy velvet tide pressing down on his soul. Reading that aggregate emotion, global dread mixed with fragile hope, reality reacts violently around him. The sky screams his internal state, sending a low rumble through the urban air. Deep indigo clouds churn overhead, shedding heavy rain weighted by collective human anxiety and determination. But the shift goes deeper than the deluge. Bird flocks fracture, their paths bending like threads of force across the sky. Squirrels dart wildly across the drenched pavement, while a stray cat pauses its stride, sensing his inner symphony. Every creature instinctively answers these emotional tides he is absorbing. Even the machinery responds to his psychic intake. The high-speed transit system below him begins seizing and shuddering, gears grinding against a sharp spike of collective annoyance. Not again! Bright orange sparks erupt as the magnetic levitation falters, a visible metallic hiccup in the structure itself. Beyond the shattered steel of the city, his reach extends across a slate-gray ocean horizon. He feels profound pressure, the deep thrumming pull of every submerged soul. They desperately yearn for quiet safety, manifesting as faint psychic currents rising from the crushing depths below. All consequences merge into one crushing tide of thought. He senses the shuddering trainees' anxiety, the birds' frantic panic overhead, and the deep longing from below. This overwhelming current seeks stillness. His mind is now the turbulent conduit for every soul. In that single second, the chaotic tide of humanity crashes worldwide. He doesn't skim, he plunges fully into the current. A mother's desperate fear mixes with an old man's quiet longing. A wave of visceral truth washes through him. For one moment, every human thought exists simultaneously. This total immersion is a psychic overload too vast to sustain. Raw despair and petty grudges instantly solidify in his mind. They sink into heavy, dense, mental sludge cown, a tar that clings like cold molasses. This suffocating weight demands immediate correction before he drowns in humanity's Shan's sorrow. This suffocating sludge immediately begins to create a psychic friction, dragging down every vibrant thought and action into a thick, cold resistance. The mental energy that was once fluid now moves like viscous molasses through the entire world. Simple movement feels laborious, color seems muted, sounds are dampened, as if reality itself is wading through this heavy tar. A crushing emotional blanket settles over existence. Joy curdles into a muted, ochre-gray ache. Every thought carries this heavy dread. Simple interactions are burdened by the quiet certainty that something bad is coming. A low hum beneath everything. Within this deep ochre sorrow and pervasive quiet dread, a pattern emerges across the minds. He detects tiny flickers of defiance fighting back. These fragile, burning sparks like green shoots through cracked earth hint at something far beyond utter ruin. We aren't defined by one grand act of courage. Instead, it is the quiet murmur of tiny choices, kindness over dread, choosing forward when muscles ache. True resilience hides in these micro-decisions, refusing to let hope wither into dusty ground beneath a fierce sun. The truth hits him like a tidal surge across human thought. It is total immersion, the crushing weight of every unspoken burden. He sees the tapestry, worry woven with fierce love, demanding he stop watching and finally join existence's vibrant current. He doesn't fight the torrent, he welcomes it. He feels the crushing dread of deadlines, the sudden jolt of pure joy, and the quiet hum of everyday annoyance. This is not scattered data. It is humanity's raw, messy soundtrack, lending purpose to every silent thought. He is no longer just observing. He becomes a living conduit for every human experience. That crushing anxiety, that cold knot of dread in a commuter's gut-ching, is now something tangible. He pulls gently on the tangled thought threads, transforming raw panic into a quiet spark of possibility and undeniable forward momentum. He finally sees that every fleeting whisper of doubt, even the towering blueprint of a dream, is essential. They are not isolated data points. They are vibrant threads woven into one vast human tapestry. He realizes this incredible design, how the crushing weight of fear perfectly stabilizes another's eyes, surging ambition, creating a necessary balance for all existence to move forward. So, what does this tapestry truly mean? Silence is a churning reservoir of brilliant intention, a deep light beneath the noise. When awareness finally drops into that depth, reality fundamentally reshapes itself. But one consequence remains untested. Tell us your theory and stay for our final question.